He tani whā kei te haere mai. He tani whā tai kuhu, tai huna. Ko re rawa koutou e kitea, ko tai mai. Kia kite Ara Ano i ngā kanuhi a o mokopuna. Ina tai ki tēnā, kaua e patu i o mokopuna. Engari, hipoki ngia wā koutou mokopuna ki te kahu aroha a te whānau. There is hardly a whānau in this country of ours and overseas who can say that we don't know any member of our whānau who might be afflicted by some form of addiction.
So I was raised by my grandparents, Pari Honoku and Charlie Tahau. They raised both me and my sister after our mum died.
Our mum passed away when I think I was like 18 months old, and my sister was about 6 months old.
And her and a few of her really good friends they were on it, out having a really good time, and they went down to Wairarapa, and the van they were in crashed on Vinegar Hill, and she got killed in that car accident.
Yeah, I just always remember knowing not having a mum, and I think always feeling like a sense of loss was a big thing why I started drinking and smoking, and everyone else was doing it. It's funny because my husband was actually the first person to let me try it, you know, when we were teenagers. It never really got that bad until maybe the last 5 years, where it got to the point where we needed it. It wasn't fun anymore.
I was always there if she needed me. So I was just worried about her, worried that she'd get hurt, worried that she'd die like our mum. I remember one time she messaged me and she said, "Man, I left my car parked on the side of the road. The damn kids in the village, they've gone past and they smashed my windscreen." And I was like, "Oh, that sucks, bro." And she's like, "Yeah, and I've got a guy coming to fix the windscreen, but he can't come until I pay him, and I don't get paid till Monday." And I was like, "Well, how much is your window going to cost?" And she's like, $500. And I was like, "Look, take a picture of your windscreen. Take a picture of the windscreen. I want to see the broken windscreen." And she sent me a picture of a smashed windscreen, and I was like, "Fine." So I sent her the $500. And then my ex was like, "Hey, where'd that money go?" I was like, "Oh, I told him what happened." And he's like, "Give me a look." And he had a look at the photo, and he's like, "Oh, you know that's a left-hand drive, right?" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "That's not a New Zealand car. You just got hustled. Your sister's on the gear." And then he left pissed as, and I was like, oh. But he was only pissed because he didn't get their money, because he wanted it for what he wanted it for. So, but yeah, she'd do shit like that, and I'd let her, because in the back of my mind, even though I was judging her, I still hoped for the best, and I didn't want her to be left out in the cold or to have nothing. And I needed to protect her and look after her.
Even when I was like highest, if we needed help, she was always there.
I guess that carried on when I met my ex-husband. Like him and Rochelle got along so well. They were mirror images of each other. They appear to be loving and happy and enjoying life, but the behavior is really destructive. And like, I just looked at him like, all you need is someone to love you and you'll be okay. So I kind of jumped into that wholeheartedly, and that began a really rough 10 years. He introduced me to a whole nother world. I didn't know what it was like to be getting drunk on a daily basis, or to, have a house with knives on the stove all the time. I didn't know what that was like. It was a shock to my system. And then I got pregnant. So my whole focus changed, and his didn't. And I didn't realise how bad his addiction was. He was pawning all of our stuff just to buy some cinnies. And that was the first time he ever hit me.
hei karawhiu I te tefa tefa. That which is the role of our men is to be the protector of that sacredness of every woman in their whānau. And they've forgotten that. And that's the challenges to the addiction, that they don't know who they are, let alone the role that they're born to.
I just felt like really crap about everything that was going on. So I started drinking like really heavily. I came home like one morning. I don't know how I got home. I think some friends that I was drinking with dropped me off. And my ex's sister lived across the road from me. So everybody was all at her place. It was Saturday. It was hot. And they were all having a barbecue and drinking. And I just passed out on my bed. And then I woke up because somebody was lying on top of me. But I was so comatose I couldn't move. And I realised that in that moment, anything could have happened to my daughter and I wouldn't have been able to do anything about it. And they eventually left. But that sobered me up real fast. And I told him what had happened. And he said, well, if you make me choose that person or this family will never see me again.
There's a whakatauki, tā te wahine he whakawhānau mokopuna. That which is the role of women is to give birth to the whakapapa, to give birth to the ancestry, to give birth to the generations. It is no mistake that our reo, Māori reo, makes reference to the placenta that our babies lay in while in the wombs of their mothers. The Māori name for that placenta is whenua. And so when the baby is born, the whenua is returned to the whenua. That is the tangata whenua. So that is the tapu of women that's forgotten by a lot of women, and certainly forgotten by a lot of men.
I feel like, I know I should feel like connected, because I am, because I look like a Māori, but I'm not, you know. And I've always felt like awkward going to the marae, like, oh, where do I stand, what do I do? Like, you don't want to offend anybody, or, you know, yeah.
Everyone is born with a right to know who they are. It is a right. It's not a privilege, it's a right to know who they are. And New Zealand, Aotearoa, is nigh time when the true history of this country is told.
There was a point when his sister had lost her 3 children to SIFs. They were using the oven to heat the house because it was cold, and they had a pot of boil up on top of the stove. And the oven door was down, and the kids climbed up onto the oven door and tipped the whole oven, and the pot of boil up just went over the babies, and they got severely burnt. And they ended up in hospital straight away. And then SIFs came in and took her kids. And then they asked me to help. So I ended up with 5 kids, 4 under 4. We moved from living to Rere Whakaitu. We were in Rere Whakaitu for 1 month. And then he said, I don't love you. I love this other person. Bye. And we're homeless. There we go. All these babies. Lost the 3 babies back to SIFs. And that was the point where I just felt like everything had fallen apart. And I thought, things can't get any worse than this. And then not long after that, my nan died. And it all came down to me at the same time. And I think I drank myself into oblivion for a year. For a solid year. And I could see my kids hurting, but I couldn't deal with that. And as selfish as that is, that's exactly how it was. I turned to cutting as a way of coping as well. Because it started to feel like there was this massive pressure, like this massive monster inside of me. I remember sitting like hiding in my wardrobe one time and just feeling like this all can end right now. If I just grab that rope, if I'm strong enough, I can end it right now and everyone will be okay. I remember like just in my mind screaming, fuck you, God, you say you love people, you say you love me, then where are you? If you loved me, you'd be here. If you'd love me, this wouldn't hurt so bad, or I'd be fine. And then there's, I'm swearing at him in my mind, and then I get this knock on the door, and I was like, hey. Ignored it, and then knocked again. I was like, fuck. So I got out of my wardrobe, and there were these two missionaries just standing on my doorstep. I opened the door, and I was like, just looked at them, and they were like, we don't know why we're here, but just want you to know God loves you. You all good? And I was like, yeah. And shut the door. And then they just left. And then I was like, my bad. I'm sorry, I swear at you.
Those who are addicted do more damage to themselves than anyone else could do to them. It's simply reaching out to the addicted to show love, to show embrace, to show caring, and not to stand in judgment of them, but to support them find their own pathway out of the situation that they may be in. Because no one but them understands the emotional trauma, the spiritual trauma that they are going through. And it's almost like being trapped in darkness while the sun's shining on you. And only someone in that space can possibly understand exactly what it is emotionally and spiritually and psychologically and physically, what's happening with them.
Getting sober's taught me that I can do anything that I put my mind to. I can do anything that I want to, and you can too. There's so much support out there. All you have to do is ask. It's there. It's a whole nother life that I never dreamed I'd have. And I'm sort of like figuring out who I am again. It's like kind of like a rebirth kind of thing,
Now I feel like where she is at on her journey, and everything that I've come through, I feel like we understand each other more. And I have a sister now.
I love feeling like she trusts me again. That's a huge thing, because I did some stuff that wasn't very good and made her lose trust in me, even though she's always been there for me. Sorry. We good. Our relationship these days, we good. I let her wipe her snot on my top. No, don't.
That's what was on the black one.
My kids keep me sober. My husband, my relationships that I have now keep me wanting to keep sober.
I still battle with my demons. I still have massive amounts of insecurities and anxieties that take me down. But that monster's gone. Like, I don't feel that bottomless pit of nothing anymore, that I'm worthless.
I'm going for stage.
Who are you going for?
Space. She gave me another space.
I knew you were going for stage.
If you want to help, it's okay to help, but it's not your problem, and it's not you, don't make it your demon. I wish someone had told me that. It might have helped. He ara ano.
He ara ano, ai. Te kahu aroha is a cloak of love, a cloak of embrace, a cloak of forgiveness of yourself, a cloak of loving yourself and loving others, a cloak of coming to terms with the ability to live in your own skin of who you are.